Vashi and Gurvi has been associated from last 3 years. So how you see this association going forward in next 5 years or 10 years of timeline?
We started our association almost before 3 years, I think.
Yes.
I don't use the word distributor because I don't like that word. I prefer it's a partnership.
Yes.
So I always consider Vashi is our partner in India. And when we talk about the partnership or when we term a relation as a partner, it's always about a long term.
Sir, you have mentioned that India has set a target of carbon emission to make it a zero carbon emission by 2070. So how you see how solar will help the country to reach its goal? वेलकम टू द अनदर एपिसोड ऑफ सिप एंड शेयर, जहाँ पे हम लोग डिस्कस करने वाले हैं द न्यू आइडियाज, चैलेंजेस, इनोवेशन दैट इज शेपिंग द क्लीन एनर्जी एंड इट्स टेक्नोलॉजी. इन दिस एपिसोड हम डिस्कस करने वाले हैं सोलर के बारे में, बट नॉट हैज अ सोलर टेक्नोलॉजी, बट हाउ इट्स मोमेंटम टेकिंग द शेप ऑफ द पावर इंडस्ट्री. तो आज ये कन्वर्सेशन के लिए हमारे साथ है एक ऐसे लीडर जो ये इंडस्ट्री और टेक्नोलॉजी को बहुत क्लोजली समझते हैं. ही हैज़ बीन सर्विंग द इंडस्ट्री फॉर मोर देन डिकेड्स इन द इंडस्ट्री, चाहे वो एग्जीक्यूशन हो, टेक्नोलॉजी हो या उनका लीडरशिप विजन हो. सो ही हैज़ बीन हेडिंग गुडवी फॉर इंडिया, श्रीलंका एंड नेपाल. So let's welcome Mr. Aniket Sawant. Welcome, sir.
Hi.
Hi. Sir, you have been in this industry from quite a long time. Okay. So what was the early days जहाँ पे आपको लगा कि नहीं you have to go into solar और आपको यहाँ पे जो contribution देने का मौका मिला?
Actually, Manoj, my total overall experience is almost more than 15 years, out of which in solar industry, luckily, I have spent almost a decade of time.
Yes, sir.
And if you see Indian solar industry, we have to divide it into three phases. Before 2015, after 2050, and then post-COVID.
Yes.
So luckily, I started my journey in the solar industry from 2017, which was the time when India was shifting the gear in the solar industry. Before that, there was a solar, there was a government project, but the momentum which we have picked up, as we can say that government has come up with a serious concrete planning, and government have set a goal, some long-term goal, some short-term, medium goal, like a 2030 we have some goal, and some long-term goal of 2070. From that point of view, government had started taking initiatives. That has started from 2014. And I started my journey in solar 2017. So I feel myself lucky that at the beginning of this journey only, I was able to get chance associated with this journey. And I have seen a various transient phase where at the initial phase in 2014-15, when PPA rate was 17, 18, 19 rupees, whereas in 2014 onwards, it has changed drastically. Now it has almost 3.5 rupees. There was a time when it was 2 rupees. But over this period, scalability has also gone increased. There was a time, if we talk about the power plant, maximum plant was having capacity 15, 20, 50 megawatt. Now the single tender government is coming up 2 gigawatt, 3 gigawatt. Single location, we have achieved major milestone in the Badla or in Gujarat, or in Pavagoda, where single location project capacity is 1 gigawatt. So technology has also evolved over the period of time, whether it's about the plant, it's about the model, it's about the inverters. All this transition phase I was able to witness. Nowadays we are talking about string inverter capacity of 300 kilowatt, 800 volt. There was a time I remember when I just entered in the solar industry, 250 kilowatt was central inverter maximum capacity. So this transition phase I was able to involve, and there is a lot more yet to happen. It's just a first phase and the beginning of the solar industry. We ourselves consider as a lucky that we are directly contributing to the nation, and this is something will be get remembered for the next generation, because the field on which we are working is not for 1 year, 2 years. It's for 25, 30 years of investment we are doing. So I feel all these are the motivating factors to be in the solar and heading towards a sustainable growth, which we are looking out for.
Okay. So it's now like you are been in the industry from long time. So over this period, so how your leadership has evolved over the time, especially ये जो अभी हम लोग बोल रहे हैं कि सोलर इज वन ऑफ द फास्ट डायनामिक फील्ड जो बहुत फास्ट ऑपरेट हो रही है, यहाँ पे आपका कैसा इवॉल्व हुआ ओवर द पीरियड ऑफ टाइम?
See, actually, I always believe leadership, when we talk about the leadership, is not about the position. It's about the strategic thinking which we deliver whichever role we are. For example, at the beginning of my career, when I was having 3 to 4 years of experience, that time also company expect from us that we should act as a leader and we should take our own responsibility. That time challenges are different. At the initial phase of the things, especially if we talk about the solar and I was doing the sales, that time our primary focus was to get and meet to the customer, develop relationship, and get the things done and secure the goal and close the deal. This was the primary motto of the leadership. However, over the period of time, when we grow as a person and company expect from us as a more leadership quality, that point of view, we have to understand what company expect. Now, scenario has changed. Now, when a company has given me opportunity to lead Goodwe for India, Sri Lanka and Nepal market, where my primary motto is to get the things done from my team in more efficient and more collaborative way. For that, I have to make sure that momentum and confidence level of my team needs to be at par, and the team spirit needs to be mentioned. So for me, leadership is not about the designation. It's about the individual quality. And as a leader, as an individual leader, when I'm handling some team, I'm responsible for a particular region. My major responsibility is that always momentum and confidence of my team should be high, and that help me to get the things done and to achieve the deliverables.
Sir, you have mentioned that India has set a target of carbon emission to make it a zero carbon emission by 2070. So you being in a solar industry from such a good time, so how you see how solar will help the country to reach its goal?
See, as I mentioned at the beginning of our discussion, that how government has set the target and how government is changing gear over the years. We have to understand that 2070 is a long-term target which government has set for the carbon zero emission, and that has been break in a several small milestones.
Small milestones.
Okay, out of these, the major milestone is of 2030, where 500 gigawatt of non-fossil energy needs to be generated of 500 gigawatt, out of which renewable, which we consider solar and wind, is having almost 300 gigawatt, out of which solar is almost 80% and 20% is of wind. And today, if we are talking at this stage in August 2025, we have almost reached solar, I can say, more than 150 gigawatt.
Yes.
And the wind is around, in total solar and wind is around 200 to 50. So 2030 target which government have set, there was a time 2 years ago which we feel it's a difficult.
Yeah.
But today at the mid of 2025, when we have sit, we can confidently say it can be done. When we started this, when government has started working on things in 2014-15 onwards, every year we were doing 5 gigawatt, 6 gigawatt, 8 gigawatt. Last year we have done 25 to 30 gigawatt. And if we maintain this momentum, the first milestone will be achieved over the period of time, or rather earlier than the target. Similarly, at our level, at individual level or at an organization level, whether it's a Vashi or Goodwe, one thing what we can do, we don't have to think how 2017 or how 2030 will be achieved. That thing will be taken care by government. We have to keep faith on policy making, or policy makers who are making the policy, and we have to be smart enough to drive our business as per the policy. That is our contribution to the target. We don't have to think how 2070 target will be achieved. For that, we have to keep faith on the policy maker. They are doing their job. We should be smart enough to understand the policy and what best we can contribute to the nation considering the policy. I'll give you one small example. when this solar industry or this solar revolution has started, initially market was about the utility segment. 2014, 15, 16, 17, there was a government backed agency, NHPC, SECI, NTPC, are coming up with the tenders, one now, which is now also going on. But that time, there was not much focus about a rooftop or CNI market. However, last year in the Feb 2024, when PMSGY, Pradhan Mantri Surya Ghar Yojana scheme has launched, momentum has shifted rapidly. In this scheme, government has planned to solarize 1 crore household, which is the first benchmark that may go up to 10 crore. So that itself has changed the shift and has contributed to the target of carbon emission like anything. So summary to what you have asked is that while looking out for a 2017, we have to make sure that every small steps which we are taking, and we should be smart and wise enough to change our strategy as per the alignment of the government, so that our contribution to the target will be achieved, and we should be smart enough to achieve our business goals. So it should be a win-win situation for all of us. So I think I have answered your question.
So we have seen the industry has evolved over the period of time. Okay, so every time we have seen there are a lot of technological involvement. So how you see the solar inverters evolving over the period with the current new technology of AI and smart grid?
Say, one thing we have to understand, we are working in the environment where technology shifts happens. There was a time when 2, 3, 4 years of time technology got changed. But now today, if we have seen, whatever we are doing now maybe get irrelevant after 1 year. So that how fast technology is changed. So one thing we have to understand, technology is always subject to modification or always subject to upgradation. Change is the only thing which is constant in a life. On this principle, solar industry is working. There was a time in 2014 or before that, module watt peak rating was 300 watt peak or below that. Now we are heading towards more than 700 watt peak, and technology we have touched HGT, bifacial, and it's like enormous. Similarly, coming to your question about the inverter, as I mentioned in the beginning, in before 2014, 15 or 16, highest inverter rating was 250 kilowatts central inverter. Now we are heading towards 400 kilowatts single string inverter. The next technology which we look after, or rather it is already been appreciated across the region, not in India, but near, if we see nearby country, especially our nearest country, China, is an hybrid technology, a hybrid inverter. And the reason for this we have to understand is that, see, we have a target of renewable energy, but there is some limitations from the grid point of view, which we have to understand how much renewable energy we can inject into the grid. We have to keep the balance between the renewable and existing source of energy. We cannot be completely get rid of the coal. We have to depend on the conventional mode of energy and have to make sure that the balance of the nature and balance of the grid to be maintained. So there will be a time come over the period, maybe 2 years, 3 years, when we reach to that level where we cannot inject more energy into the grid from the renewable. That time government will come with the mandatory technical specification or the policy where excess amount of energy needs to be get stored in a battery. So that time, maybe it may come within 6 months, because the way PMSGY scheme is rolling, the way utility market has got matured, and the way CNI things has been changed. So maybe it may come down the line 6 months, maybe 1 year, government will come up with a policy especially for the hybrid inverter that will cater the demand for the residential, CNI, as well as bigger BSS project. So next big thing is definitely an hybrid inverter, which will be change the gear, or we can say the big shift in the technology, and which we needs to be prepared for.
Sir, as you mentioned that the energy, solar energy is shaping a new with the technology. Okay, so how you see the next phase of energy, how it will shape?
When we talk about the technology, or when we see the when we discuss about the upcoming trends, or upcoming technology, one thing which is common is that whatever we are doing, we need to contribute to the nation, because this is something related directly to the people. So whatever technology we are discussing or whatever technology we have to absorb, for that one common point which needs to be considered is that how our government will come up with the plan and policy which gets suitable for the end consumer or the direct pass the benefit to the end customer. So considering that, as I mentioned in the last question, that government may come up with the hybrid inverters where excess amount of energy needs to be get stored in a battery. And the way government has launched PMSGY scheme in February 2024, and after that the way technology has shifted, we when we discuss among the industry or when we discuss among our the colleague, we understand that government have planned that every household should be energy producer. If we have to achieve a 2070 target or 20, maybe by if we divide that into the phase wise, we should be a self capable to absorb our needs. So that is how the government is planning. So now next phase will be that every house should be a house energy producer, and they should consume their own energy rather than depends on the grid. So now I think 1/3 of that has been achieved or will be get achieved by PMSGY. Next phase of that will be a hybrid inverter, whether it's a residential, CNI or a utility base. And parallel to this, there will be a contribution of the EV technology, where EV charger and EV vehicle will play a vital role in achieving the carbon emission. Zero
Yeah, so
carbon
the
emission.
decentralization of the energy has to be
Yes.
there. Sir, as we were discussing about PM Surya Ghar Yojana, so considering the reach to the smaller cities, because PM Surya Ghar is more about the reaching to the individual household. Okay, so as we see the many players struggle to reach to this the smaller household. So how you define how we can reach to and how we can solve the problems of the individuals?
Yeah, definitely. Actually, that's the right question which I was expecting for. See, one thing we have to understand, when we have to go fast, we have to go alone. But when we have to go far, we need a team or we need a partner. And at that moment, it comes about the relationship, like the relationship between Gudvi and Vashi. We got associated with the Vashi, I think 3 years ago.
Yes.
The reason behind association with the Vashi is that the distribution network which Vashi is having on the small town and the reach the Vashi is having till the end consumer for the over almost a half decade of your journey, Vashi has successfully reached to the end customer, whether it's a city, district or town level. So coming to your question, how one can reach to the end consumer and pass benefit and contribute to their demand. As a Goodwe, when we have our product portfolio full, which caters the demand. For example, we have an residential inverter from 1 kilowatt, single phase up to 5 kilowatt, 3 phase started from the 5 kilowatt up to 120 kilowatt, which means Goodwe have all kind of products which will cater the demand of the customer. But only with our product we cannot reach to the consumer. We need a solid, strong partner who have equally strong presence and well aware about the market. Here we look after Vashi, and over this period of 3 years of journey, we have successfully catered the demand. And particularly about the PMSGY, along with the Vashi only, in last 1 year, we have supplied more than or at minimum 50,000 units of residential across the pan India. And I believe when this scheme goes to the next level, only with the Vashi we can cater the demand minimum, let's say 0.5 million residential house. So together with the partnership, with a good partner and the right product is a key factor to reach to the end customer with the strategic planning. That is how we can cater the demand and we can increase our reach to the actual end consumer who's sitting in a village.
Sir, now we have seen reaching to the smaller cities in India. Okay, But when it comes to the execution, what people do underestimate when it comes to the execution of the industry, and how you see on the ground or the solar industry?
Correct. Actually, when market is moving fast and demand is more, there is a critical factor which gets ignored or which may gets oversized is always about the execution and its impact in a long-term manner. For example, when we talk about the solar, people always focus on the initial investment, that is the capex cost.
Capex cost.
But the one of the critical factors people ignored is about its application over the period of time. One investment which we are doing now will be there with the consumer. When I talk about the consumer, whether it's a residential consumer, it's a CNI or utility, it's an investment for 25 years or at least minimum decently 15 years.
15 years.
So over this period of time, we have to understand along with the capex cost, we have to choose a right product, a right partner who be with you over the period of time for the service. So I feel this is the main crucial part which gets oversized because there is a huge demand. Everyone have to maintain their profit and loss and everyone have to do the business with a decent margin. At this stage, we should not cut the corners at the capex cost, which will be get affect over the period of time because maybe the capex cost is the one reason. The one reason over the period of time, 25 years, the benefit of a generation which we are getting is an enormous. So the challenge or the things which customer needs to be in a consider in this mind that they have to choose the right product and they have to be with the right partner who can give them service over the period of time. If we talk about the Goodwi, how Goodwi is fulfilling this thing. See, Goodwi is in India. We started our operation in 2007. Now, in next 2 years, we'll complete a decade in India, which means we are completing 2 warranty cycles. If we consider ideal warranty cycles of 5 years, within next 2 years, when we reach to the completion of our 10 years of anniversary in India, we are completing our 2 warranty cycles in India. That shows the commitment to the customers and that shows how the manufacturer is serious about the market. Over the period of time, there are many OEMs have come, they have done some business and they disappear. So this is the critical factors, end consumer or the integrators or the EPC partner needs to be considered. Whichever products they are using should have a bankability and should have their presence at least next 10 to 15 years of time. And I feel very proud that among the players in India market, let's say, maybe they are in single digit, tier 1 players. Goodwi is the, maybe you can say, top 2, top 3 players who have a product from 1 kilowatt to 350 kilowatt. And we are catering demand, whether it's a single household power producer of 1 kilowatt or whether it's a big power plant. You can name of the any big player in India, we are associated, who are doing projects of 250 megawatt, 300 megawatt. We are catering demand of the each region and each customers in very effectively and very efficiently over this period of a decade journey in India. So that is a key factor. One should choose a partner wisely and one should do a thorough technical and commercial understanding while associating and selecting the product for their investment.
Sir, you have mentioned that Goodwi has range of products available. So can you just brief about how Goodwi is catering for all the segments in solar sector?
Sure. Actually, when I mention that we are catering demand of all customers, we have to understand what are the types of customers where we are delivering our products. India market is, if we talk about only on-grid solar inverter, I will not focus right now on off-grid, hybrid or wind, only about the on-grid. Market is mainly divided into 3 parts. First is a residential customer, then it comes a CNI, and then it comes about utility. So residential customers are the one which we have already talked enough, who are mainly beneficiary of the PMSGY scheme. Now if we talk about the CNI, that is commercial and industrial segment, for which product range which Goodwi starts from the 12 kilowatt 3-phase to 125 kilowatt. These are the customers who are mainly working on the OPEX systems and mainly installing a solar rooftop for their industrial purpose. So we have to understand that there is government have also made a mandate for all industrial users that they have given a timeline to the major industry player, and they are passing the benefit to the industry if they switch their loads to on-grid system rather than a conventional mode of the energy. Considering that over last 3 to 4 years of time, we have seen there is a huge demand of the CNI inverters or about the CNI projects which are coming up. Majority of the big players we can name like who are doing a good in utilities earlier. You can name any player. They are started focusing CNI business as a value added or as a commercially more viable business. So if we particularly talk about the CNI market, India, if we consider the annual capacity or the annual solar contribution, let's say 25-30 gigawatt, among that CNI market is like 25 to 30%.
Yes.
Then 15% up to for a residential, and the remaining is all for utility. Utility is a very mature market in India, as it has a start of early. It has a benefit of early start. 2014 we start with the utility. Over the period of time, we have moved for CNI and residential. Now, for this 30%, which is a big market share and which almost contribute 3 to 4 gigawatt of the annual target. Let's say if we are doing a 30 gigawatt annually for a solar contribution, among that 3 to 4 gigawatt is of the CNI market. So that customer is something which we cannot ignore, and there is a huge potential in that market. And as a good we are making sure that whatever technology we are coming are matching the demand of the end customer. For example, if all the products which we are offering for CNI from 12 kilowatt to 125 kilowatt having a nameplate rating. For example, our 125 kilowatt model name is GW125KGT. Is deliver 125 kilowatt at 50 degree. Why it is important is that in India there is a regulation from the grid, okay, and as per the grid code, ambient temperature in most of the state they consider 50 degree. So it is very mandatory or it is very crucial that inverter who's having a nameplate rating at 50 degrees Celsius give benefit while doing a rooftop or while doing the installation, because there is a factor called DC overloading, AC overloading, which consider as a huge BOS cost. For example, if a Goodwi inverter who delivers a 50 degree 125 kilowatt, customer can save a lot cost in a DC overloading. So these are the one of the factors which I say. In summary, I can tell you that while catering the demand of the customer, we make sure that whatever product we have or whatever product we are developing should contribute in such a way that it should save their capex cost as well as overall BOS cost of the customer, which will pass benefit to them, and it comes as a more techno-commercial ease to the customer. So that is how we look after for a CNI market.
So we discussed about the smaller size inverters, then we discussed about CNI scales inverters, then we discussed about utility scales inverters. So now the Vashi and Goodwi has been associated from last 3 years. So how you see this association going forward in next 5 years or 10 years of timeline?
We started our association almost before 3 years, I think.
Yes.
In past 3 years, acknowledge the one thing which as a partner, because we never consider, I don't use the word distributor because I don't like that word. I prefer it's a partnership.
Yes.
So I always consider Vashi is our partner in India. And when we talk about the partnership or when we term a relation as a partner, it's always about a long term. So 3 years which we have associated, it's an initial phase where we have maintained the base of the relationship. Heading towards the next, at least for a decade, I have seen that Goodwi will grow in a market and will reach to the every small city, every household where there is a demand of our producing, and that is only possible if Vashi can support us with their strong distribution and the reach to the end customer. as I mentioned, that the one of the key advantage Vashi is having is the acceptance in the market. For example, the way when I discuss with the leaders of the Vashi, the vision which they share and the mission on which we are working is having some common platform. We have to contribute to the nation. We have to contribute the needs of the end customer. So that is where we form a similarities. And to answer exactly to your question about the how this partnership we are looking out for next year, I will say we are looking out for a next decade where we will increase our footprints across the nation along with the Vashi, and that will be a mutually beneficial, long-term, sustainable relationship for the Vashi and Goodwill.
So today we have discussed a lot more about solar, not only with the technology, but its future trends, its technological advancement, and the what the government is planning. And I really thank Aniket ji for his thoughtful and innovative ideas that will bring this
I
discussion.
just want to correct. It's not my idea. It's a collaborative approach where we are looking out for the Vashi, and I would like to thank Vashi also on this note that the vision, as I mentioned, the vision is a common platform between us. So through this podcast, I got opportunity to share my views and to share my ideas and to understand how deep Vashi and how serious is Vashi about partnership with the Goodwill. So I appreciate and acknowledge your thanks, but same time I would also like to thanks from the Goodwill side, and I'm very much sure in upcoming days I will take up this partnership to the next level.
Thank you, sir. Before you leave, there is a small gift for you.